I was watching a YouTube video recently about how a lot of times we put this pressure on ourselves to start with so many big goals and make huge changes in our lives within really short amount of times, and how it's really just so unrealistic because it actually takes a while to get good at things. I'm making some tea. My nephew drew this and made a mug out of it. But then she shared this quote that really resonated with me, and it was something along the lines of, you will never see the full path. The important thing is to do the next right thing. And I love that. What I took from it is basically like, it's okay if you are unclear or unsure how to get to where you really are trying to go. The most important part is just like taking one step at a time. As you get started, you will start to figure out what the next best step is, and eventually it's those series of steps that will not only allow you to like gain the momentum you need to keep going consistently, but also like just to see that path or journey unfold. And it got me thinking about the people who may feel stuck or overwhelmed and unsure about how to get started or where to get started. Again, especially as we are in this new year and it is peak season for like prepping and planning and starting fresh and taking all these big steps, next steps to change our lives. I wanted to just share the exact like steps that I took to start transforming my life because they worked for me. They are working for me. I'm still in this journey and still working towards it, but I definitely wanted to share like these tips that helped me just get started finally after years of starting and stopping and not being consistent or following through with what I said I would follow through. So yeah, that's what I want to share in this video. Hello everyone, I'm Nania Yasmin, and I am a fashion brand freelancer and creator based out of New York City. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. I am drinking pineapple tea. My husband makes this and it is delicious. We'll buy pineapples and he'll cut it up and we'll obviously eat the pineapple, but then he takes like the skin and the flesh of the pineapple and boils it and makes this tea. It's really good for you. But anyway, we will jump into the video. I wanted to share these 3 tips. Here's my little checklist. It's not long at all, and that is intentional because again, the goal and purpose of this is just to get started. It is not to overwhelm you. We don't want to be burned out. I'm not here to promise you anything other than like motivation, encouragement that you can do it. So the first tip on this checklist is getting clear on your goals. I think it's important and it's great to have goals, but we have to get clear on them, right? Like if we want to be setting sail on this journey, we have to know where we're going. We have to have a destination, otherwise we will quite literally be lost. This will, allow us to prioritize things around us, filter out distractions, and really focus on where we're headed. So that is very important. There are a couple of different ways that you can get clear on your goals. This could look like journaling or just visualizing your goals through, again, journal or voice memos. I think that's something that I've heard a lot more people doing, is like recording voice memos on their phone. You could also do vision boards, mood boards. Those are very common. This could also look like breaking your goals down. Like if you're like me and you have a lot of goals, that in and of itself could be overwhelming because it's like, dang, I have a whole list of goals. Maybe start with 1 to 3 goals. You can break them down into categories so that you can determine which one is a high priority for you, whether it be fitness, finance, your career, relationships, hobbies. Maybe filtering them out that way will help you figure out which ones you want to get started with. But yeah, a few questions that you can ask yourself are like, why is this goal important to you? What does success look like 6 months from now or a year from now? Like, what will this transformation look like? How will I present myself and show up? What does my day-to-day look like? What does my bank account look like? Like, you can get as detailed as you'd like, but just having a clear understanding of like what it is we're doing, where we're going, and why. Second step is having an honest self-reflection, emphasis on honest, and not because I want you to be overcritical of yourself and be upset with, you know, all the things that you said you're gonna do and you haven't done. The purpose of this is to just raise awareness around like our self-sabotaging thoughts or habits or patterns. We want to identify any of these so that we can break them and we can move away from them. We got clear on where we're headed. We know the direction in which we're going, but now we have to understand exactly where we are starting. You know, we are leaving the things that are holding us back behind. They can't go with us on this journey, okay? Y'all know what Erykah Badu said, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back. Dragging all them bags like that, okay? It can't go. So that's why we're doing this reflection, so we know what needs to be changed, removed, or done in general. We gotta get into it. We do have to get into it in order to move forward. So once you finish your journal prompt on getting clear on your goals, you can keep going and get right into that reflection on the same page. And some questions you can ask yourself to get started with this are, what's working well in life right now? What habits or behaviors are holding me back? When was the last time I was proud of myself and why? Again, be kind to yourself. I would also advise that as you're identifying habits and patterns in this reflection, pair it up with an action. So this is also how you can immediately get started, right? Like if you know that one of your distractions is your phone, then you can probably come to the conclusion that you need to decrease your screen time. I'm not saying you have to delete all of your social media and go MIA for the entire year in order for your life to change. No. What we're gonna do is maybe just no screen time after 9 p.m. or maybe no screen time for the first 2 hours of the day. These are like sustainable habits that we can start today that won't burn us out, they won't overwhelm us. But if we start small, then over time we can increase that, and then eventually maybe you can go the full work day without being on social media, or you can cut it out completely during the week, whatever your end goal is around that. I would also recommend just scheduling regular check-ins with yourself. This is just a great opportunity for you, again, to have an understanding of where you started on this day and where you are on that day. You can, again, reassess everything, figure out what you're doing good at, you know, what your strengths are, but also if there's any opportunities for change or pivoting, readjusting. Again, this is not a challenge where I personally feel like you need to do the same exact thing for 75 days in order to build that habit. Because if you're not enjoying the process, or if the process is overwhelming to you and you dread it, then you're not gonna stay consistent. You are gonna burn out. Like, I think we know that at this point. So if you have to make changes along the way, that is okay. There are multiple different ways that you can approach this to still yield like the same results. So make it work for you. And the third step, which is just as important as the other two, is to start. Again, regardless of how small and insignificant it may seem, just start with what you can today. My voice. Break your goals down into actionable steps, whether this is routines, habits, tasks, any way that you can manage this on a consistent basis, I feel like is the most important part. If your goal is to lose weight and change your physical appearance, that's amazing. That is a goal that you should keep. However, if you are currently not active at all, I would not advise you to jump into workouts 5 days a week unless you can sustainably and consistently do that. Instead, I might suggest starting off with 15-minute stretches a day, or at-home workouts, maybe going for a walk or a run around your neighborhood before you go out and spend money on a membership and you're not even sure that you are going to consistently show up and get your money's worth. I actually touched on this in my previous video. If you're anything like me and you have not been following through with your word year after year, not only are you not achieving your goals, but over time it starts to affect your confidence and your self-trust. In this video, I'll link it up above for anyone who wants to check it out. I share 4 daily habits that, again, you can start today. They don't take a ton of time. They don't take any money to get started, and you can do them consistently to build up that momentum as well as that confidence and self-trust and relationship with yourself. Consistency beats intensity. I know it's easy for us to feel like more productive or be proud of ourselves. The goal has to be huge and everybody has to be able to see this transformation for it to matter. But I don't think that's the case, and I don't think that's true. I think if you are consistently starting over time, by the time people see it, you'll be like, I've been on this. Like we've been on this. You see what I'm saying? Like, what matters is you showing up for yourself. So with that being said, transformation is a process. It does not happen overnight. So I do encourage you all to take that first step today. Honestly, I think I said this already, but